Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the best darn YouTube show that's ever been invented by man. Haven't told you about this. I am Brad Komjenik, your host for episode 14. And this is the weekly show where my mind takes me places and then I take you along with a ride. But tonight, I'm not going to be known as Brad. Tonight, you may refer to me as Buff Daddy, as my mind has reminded me that my all-time favorite reality TV show, Survivor, is back for its 50th season, and I need to speak my mind on all things Survivor 50. Survivor 50 is nearly here. It's not coming soon anymore. It's not in development even. It's not Jeff Probst whispering about it in a palm tree. No, it's days, weeks away. It's very real, and it's absolutely unhinged in the best possible way. You know, every few seasons, Survivor will drop a cast on you, and it makes you go, oh man, they are trying to kill these people. Well, that's what we have in store coming up for season 50. It's almost like CBS said, hey, what if we took the most chaotic players, some of the most beloved players, the most delusional players, the most strategic players, the most feral players, and we put them all on a beach with no supervision? And Probst said, yeah, let's try it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to season 50 of Survivor. Welcome, more importantly, to Buff Daddy's Survivor Season 50 breakdown. This is the only Survivor breakdown where the takes are hot, the opinions are questionable, and the chaos is not only encouraged, it's mandatory. So, let me set the tone for you. Survivor 50 is not a greatest hits season. It's not even a best of the best season. It's not even a fan favorite season. This is the we want drama, we want tears, we want blood, we want blindsides, so violent that they come with a chiropractor. That's the kind of season we're in store for. The cast is a blender full of legends, lunatics, underdogs, overdogs, people who think they're underdogs, but they're actually overdogs, and people who think they're overdogs, but they're just delusional. And at least 3 people who were put here purely to cause chaos and then go home around day 6. And I respect that gameplay. So, here's what you're going to get in today's episode. We're going to do 6 segments. Each segment, you're going to get a little bit of my snark, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of deep Survivor lore, questionable metaphors, and at least one moment where you go, did he really say that? And yes, I did say that. So again, you'll get a little bit of Buff Daddy's hot takes when I say something that will make at least one Redditor throw their phone across the room. I'm going to have what's called the pre-merge dumpster fire watch list. These are players who are absolutely not going to make the merge unless God himself intervenes for them. I'm going to have an immunity idol delusion, awarded to the player most likely to think they're running the game while actually being the group project member who contributed nothing. We'll eventually have some blindside weather reports where I predict which alliances are about to get hit by a Category 5 betrayal. And then the torch snuffer of truth. These are just going to be a little bit of reality thrown into the reality show and some big guesses that I might have. But let me set some expectations with you. This isn't a recap, okay? This isn't polite analysis. This is not a both sides have valid points situation. This is Buff Daddy. I'm here to praise the legends. I'm here to roast the delusions. I'm here to celebrate the chaos and tell you exactly who I think's winning, losing, who's going home because they tried to make fire with a wet sock. This is going to be the show where Ozzy gets called out for being allergic to strategy. Siri gets worshipped like the survivor deity that she is. Angelina gets dragged for negotiating rice like she's at a Costco. Rick Devens getting accused of having a personal sponsorship with Edge of Extinction. Savannah Louie getting crowned the new challenge queen when we already have one. Coach gets, well, coached. And Q gets told to sit down at least twice. So, let's start with the cast. The Survivor cast is 24 players, 24 egos, 24 confessionals where someone says, I am in the absolute best position anyone could be in the game. And statistically, at least 18 of them are going to be wrong. My mission today is simple. I want to walk you through this cast, break down their strengths, weaknesses, predict their alliances, roast their past mistakes, hype their potential, and to give you the definitive Buff Daddy power rankings for Survivor 50. This is the episode that you're going to watch before the season starts. This is the episode you send to your Survivor group chat and say, you got to watch this. This is the episode that makes you say, okay, Buff Daddy's unhinged, but he's not wrong. All right. Let's do just a quick vibe check of the cast. Okay. I smell betrayal, overconfidence, many misplaced idols. Oh, challenge dominance. Wait. Emotional breakdowns, confessionals filmed in the rain, and at least one person who is going to cry when they get voted out and saying, well, I didn't see that coming. You didn't see it coming because you didn't watch your own show, buddy. All right. Enough talk. It's time. Let's break down the full Survivor 50 cast. All 24 players, one by one. Legends, icons, chaos agents, people who should not be allowed near a strategic decision. We're going to do it all. Welcome to the cast rundown. All right, strap in, hydrate, stretch your emotional hamstrings because we are about to walk through all 24 castaways returning for Survivor 50, alphabetical order, kind of. A lineup so chaotic, so legendary, so unhinged that Jeff Probst had to sign a waiver just to host it. This is the official confirmed cast, and I'm going to give you the Buff Daddy breakdown, the hype, the roast, the lore, and the chaos. So, with that said, let's begin with Angelina Kelly, Survivor 37, David versus Goliath. Ah, yes, the queen of negotiation. Angelina is the only Survivor player in history who tried to barter her way to a win like she was haggling for a used Honda Civic. She's strategic, dramatic, unintentionally hilarious, and she's the human embodiment of, I can fix this alliance with a PowerPoint if you would all just watch. So here's my hot take for Angelina. She's either going to run the game or she's going to get voted out because she tried to negotiate for rice again. With her, there is no middle ground. All right, let's move on to the next cast member. Aubrey Bracco, Survivor 32, 34, and 38. Aubrey is the strategist. She's the queen of anxiety-powered gameplay. She's the person who's going to say, I'm fine, while her confessional's literally on fire. But she's brilliant. She's emotional. And she's overdue for a redemption arc. Here's what I think. Aubrey is one bad alliance away from narrating her own downfall yet again. All right. Next up. Charlie Davis from Survivor 46. You remember Tag Along Charlie. He's the kid who showed up to Survivor 46 with the energy of a man who studied every season like it was the LSAT test. Charlie's smart, likable, strategic, but he's also the kind of guy to say, I'm not really a threat, while literally being one of the biggest threats. My hot take, Charlie's the type of player who gets blindsided because he trusted someone who said bro one too many times. All right, who do we have next? Oh, looky there. It's Chrissy Hoffbeck, Survivor 35. She also was a challenge beast and a math genius and the rightful winner of Survivor 35. Don't at me. I'm just saying what fandom says. Okay. She's polished. She's sharp. She's dangerous. How about the pre-merge dumpster fire watch list, though? Chrissy's not on it. Chrissy, too good. Just too good. All right, who do we have next? Christian Hubicki, Survivor 37. The legend, the myth, the man who turned a puzzle into a TED Talk. Christian's one of the most beloved players ever. He's a nerd icon, a strategic mastermind, and the only person who can make a 20-minute monologue about gears sound riveting. What's my hot take? Well, he's either going to go deep or he'll get voted out because everyone is absolutely terrified of Christian. All right, who's up next? Uh-oh, who could it be? Who is it? Siri Fields from Survivor 12, 16, 20, and 34. Look, friends, we're just not worthy of Siri. We're not prepared. We're not emotionally stable enough for Siri Fields. She's the greatest Survivor player to never win the game. She's the queen of social strategy, the mother of blindsides. She's the patron saint of I don't need to win challenges because I win hearts. Here is my torch snuffer of truth on Siri. If she doesn't make the merge, I'm flipping the table. How about that? All right. Who do we have next? Who is it? It's Coach Wade. Survivor 18, 20, and 23. Ah, yes, Coach, the man, the walking fantasy novel. Coach is the only Survivor player who plays the game like he's on a spiritual quest, guided by a dragon he met in a dream. He's dramatic. He's theatrical. He's unintentionally iconic. What's my hot take? Coach is either going to form a cult or get voted out by the cult that he did form. That's our man, Coach. Who's next? Kobe Donaldson from Survivor 2, 8, and 20. Kobe is a legend, but also he's a poster child for peaked early. Australian Outback Colby, a god. Heroes versus villains Colby, a man who looked like he just wanted to go home and watch some Netflix. Still, he's iconic, and he is beloved. He's kind of a nostalgic pick. How about my pre-merge dumpster fire watch list? Yeah, Colby, you're in danger. You're in danger big time, my friend. All right, who's next? D. Valadares, Survivor 45 winner. D was a monster. D also was a strategic beast, a social assassin, challenge threat too, and a closer. She won Survivor 45 because she played like she had a cheat code to the game. What's my hot take? D is honestly one of the few modern winners who can hang with the legends. I think she's one to watch. All right. Next up, this one's tough. Yep, there's Emily. Emily flipping. Like, what's she flipping doing? calling out somebody on the beach before the game's ever even started in Survivor 45. But she's the queen of the glow up. She literally went from I hate everyone to I love everyone in 26 days. She can be blunt. She can be funny. She's self-aware. And she's dangerous. My torch snuffer of truth on her, Emily's the only person who can roast you and then make you thank her for it. Keep your eye on Emily. Not really the most impressive person in her season, but I think someone who can learn a lot and come back strong. Who do we have next? All right. Genevieve Mouchaluk from Survivor 47. She's a newer school player with a sharp mind and a social game that sneaks up on you. I find her underrated. She's incredibly adaptable. She's the kind of player who benefits from being underestimated, really. What's my hot take? If you need a sleeper pick for this season, here it is. Genevieve. All right. Who do we have next? Up next, Jenna Lewis Doherty, an OG Survivor 1 and 8 player. A true OG, a Borneo legend, a player who survived the Wild West era Survivor when alliances were considered cheating. Think about that. Well, cheating by the fandom, not by the rules of the game. She's really, really old school. She's scrappy and unpredictable. Is she on my pre-merge dumpster fire watch list? Yeah, Jenna, I'm sorry. This cast is too stacked for you. Have fun up until the merge, and then you can go back home and watch it with the rest of us. All right, next up. Oh, my man, Joe Hunter. Now, Joe's a physical threat, and he's got a social game that's better than people give him credit for. He's strong. He's charismatic. He's the kind of guy who gets targeted for being too likable. Now, when it comes to alliances, Joe set the standard on his season with his alliance with Eva, who I'm incredibly sad to see not be in season 50. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to come back. Who knows? But I really wish she would have been here. You know, on his alliance and his season with Eva, that alliance took them both to the finale. Now, my question is, though, will he play that same strategy again? Or this time, will Joe go anti-alliance? Since last time the alliance got him to the end, but not the win. My hot take, Joe is a merge boot waiting to happen. Let's see if that happens. All right, who do we have next? Jonathan Young, Survivor 42. If you need a challenge beast, you look no farther than Jonathan Young. This man is a literal superhero. When I watched Jonathan jump into the ocean for the first time and literally grab his teammates in the water and hurl them ahead of him so they could win challenges, I knew Jonathan was something special. A man who carried entire tribes on his back like he was doing CrossFit. But strategy? Puzzles? Oh. Not so hot in either category. Jonathan, I hope in your time off you bought every puzzle, sir, you could find, and you just spent time completing them, because when it came to puzzles on your season, doing one was an impossibility. My torch snuffer of truth for Jonathan the Beast. He is one blind side away from becoming a meme yet again. Jonathan, please don't let that happen to you again in season 50. All right, who do we have next? Oh, all right. I'm going to try to do her last name justice. Camilla Carthagesu. Okay, Camilla's sharp, social, and sneaky. She's the kind of player who smiles while looking for the target on your back. Carmella was perfectly happy in her season playing second fiddle to Kyle while she watched him win the first time around in their season. Something tells me she will once again try to team up with Kyle if she can, but this time she's going to see herself as the leader instead of the follower. What's my hot take on her? I think she's dangerous because she's charming and strategic and knows all the killer moves. She is not an underdog to win this season. She's an overdog. All right, next up. We just talked about him. There's Kyle Frazier. You remember Kyle, right? The wild card, unpredictable. He's the kind of player who flips alliances because someone looks at him funny. In his season, he started off as the doof who just demanded to do the first challenge and couldn't have bungled it any badlier than he did. With that said, he went on to win his season. But if he hadn't had Camilla, he would have never won. He strikes me as the leader type who needs others to execute his plans for him. He's going to be one to watch again this season. Is he on my pre-merge dumpster fire watch list? Kyle, buddy, I'm watching you. I think people are on to you. All right, who's next? Mike White, Survivor 37. He's a national treasure. He's a writer, a comedian, strategic mastermind. But he's the only player who can lose the game and still get HBO to greenlight a hit show for him. What's my hot take? He's a top-tier social player and a legit threat. Do not count Mike White out. All right. Drum roll, please, if you will. Ozzy Lust. Ozzy's from Survivor 13, 16, 23, 34, and now 50. He's the greatest challenge competitor in Survivor history. Can't argue it. Jonathan was good. Ozzy's better. But he's also the man who invented the I just win everything strategy. That works until it doesn't, Ozzy. He's iconic and he's beloved. He's also allergic to strategy. Here's hoping Ozzy finally learned how to play nice with others and study the art of the alliance much better for season 50. My torch snuffer of truth for Ozzy? He's one misplayed idol away from going home early yet again. Come on, Ozzy. You know we're all rooting for you. All right, who do we have next? Let's see. We're getting down here. We have Q. Survivor 46. Q is chaos. Pure chaos. Unfiltered chaos. This man plays Survivor like he's speedrunning a video game. He's unpredictable, way too emotional. But you can't argue this. He's entertaining. My hot take, he's either going to be the first one out or the final three. There's no in between for Q Burdett. Let's keep an eye on him this time, shall we? Or maybe he'll just say, hey, I want to go home early again. Who knows? That's his gig. Up next, here he is, Rick Devens from Survivor 38. Rick is a legend. He's a comeback king. He's a confessional machine. A man who turned the edge of extinction into his personal Airbnb. He's funny. He's charismatic. And he's dangerous. If you ever wanted to see somebody not on the pre-merge dumpster fire watch list, Devens is not on it. He is just too good. All right. You either loved this person or you could not stand them. Rizzo. Rizzo's a strategic force. He's a social threat. He definitely is a player who made it deep and earned respect. I would say he's sharp and adaptable, a legit contender. But take this to the bank. Rizzo will not be allowed to hold on to his idol for 6 weeks straight while telling everyone he's going to play it week after week and then doesn't this time around. This is Survivor 50. This is the big time. That is not going to work. Rizzo better have used his time away from Survivor, as short as it was, to think over different winning strategies. Next up, you know where you love her. There she is. Survivor 49 winner, Savannah Louie. Yep, she's a challenge queen. One of them, not the. She's pretty much a social powerhouse. She gets in your face and tells you like it is. You can appreciate that style of gameplay in a player. She's also a player who dominated Survivor 49 and earned every bit of her win. I can remember from the very first show number 1, on her very first confessional video, she said, "This is going to be the easiest $1 million I ever won." And then she did it. She's strong, she's smart, and she's dangerous. My hot take, I believe she's in the top tier to win Survivor 50. Hands down. Next up. All right. Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick from Survivor 10, 11, and 20. Again, we have a legend on our hands here. A warrior. A competitor who survived the most cursed tribe in Survivor history. I think she's tough, she's fierce, she's iconic. She keeps her eyes out for all the other players and knows every single one of them. And they've got their eyes on Stephanie because if she finds the right alliance, she's destined for greatness in Survivor 50. My torch snuffer of truth for Steph, she's not going down without a fight. All righty. Who do we have for the final player? It's the final countdown. Da-da-da-da. It's Tiffany Nicole Irvin from Survivor 46. Tiffany's just hilarious and chaotic and emotional. She's the kind of player who just makes great TV, but she's not going to go very far. She's a confessional queen and a social wild card. And honestly, I just don't see her having what it takes to get to the end of 50. Let's see if I'm wrong about that. All right. On to the next segment, please. Alliances. All right. We've met the legends. We've met the chaos agents, delusional optimists, the challenge beasts, the strategists. We've met the people who are absolutely going home early. But now let's talk about alliances. Who's linking up? Who's stabbing who? Who's pretending to be loyal while plotting a blindside so brutal it'll be studied in schools? Here we go. I'm going to make some alliance predictions. Okay? This is the part of the show where I can pretend I can predict human behavior on a tropical island with no food, no sleep, and no emotional stability. Yes, I am a licensed counselor by trade. I have studied people, and that's why I love this show so much. So, welcome to Alliance Predictions. Here I'm going to tell you who's teaming up, I think, who's betraying who, I think, and who's going to form an alliance so cursed it'll be studied by future generations to go, why did they do that? All right, let's go. First up, alliance number 1. I name it the Smart People Who Know They're Smart Alliance. I'm giving you Christian Hubicki, Aubrey Bracco, Mike White, and Charlie Davis. This is the We All Have Glasses and Anxiety Alliance. The We've Watched Every Season Twice Alliance. The We're Here to Play Chess While Everyone Else is Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos Alliance. Why would this work? Christian is a puzzle god. Aubrey is a strategic surgeon. Mike White is a social mastermind. Charlie is a modern superfan with a brain like a spreadsheet. But why would it fall apart? Well, because one of them is going to overthink something and spiral into a confessional monologue that lasts longer than the challenges do. So my torch snuffer of truth on this one is this alliance is strong until someone says the word blindside, and then everyone panics and runs away. All right, alliance number 2. The challenge beasts who don't trust each other. You got Ozzy, you got Jonathan Young, you got Savannah Louie, and D. Valadares. This is your version of the Avengers for Survivor. But the Avengers, if they all secretly hated each other. Why does it work? Ozzy's a living jungle gym. Jonathan is a forklift. Savannah is a modern challenge queen. Dee is a closer who wins when it matters. How does it fall apart? Because Ozzy will say, we don't need strategy. We're just going to win everything. And Dee will look directly into the camera like she's on The Office. Here's my hot take. This alliance lasts exactly one vote before someone here flips. All right, alliance number 3. The Moms, Aunts, and Social Assassins Alliance. I give you Siri Fields, Chrissy Hoffbeck, Stephanie LaGrassa, and Emily Flippin. This is the alliance that scares me. This is the alliance that scares you. This is the alliance that scares Jeff Probst. Why it works. Siri's the greatest social player ever. Chrissy is a strategic beast. Stephanie is a fighter. And Emily is a confessional queen with a sharp tongue. But here's where it all falls apart. Emily's going to roast someone in the shelter, and Stephanie will take it personally, and then they'll turn on each other. My torch snuffer of truth here, if this alliance sticks together, though, this season is over. Here's your winners, or at least your final 4. Alliance number 4, the Chaos Gremlins United. Of course, leading this with a big Q on his forehead is Q. And then Tiffany, Nicole Irvin, and Kyle Frazier. Kyle Frazier in the Chaos Gremlins? This alliance is not real. It's an actual hallucination. It's a fever dream. Why does it work? It really doesn't. Why does it fall apart? Immediately. But why it's iconic? Because every confessional would be gold. You would love to see these people get together. Why? Because it doesn't work. They win because it doesn't work. Honestly, this is an alliance that would accidentally vote out one of their own numbers and not even know it. But if they did, watch out. It would make the best television you've ever seen. Alliance 5, the old school nostalgia tribe. I'll give you Colby. I'll give you Coach Wade. I'll give you Jenna Lewis. This is the alliance that forms on day 1 because they all remember what dial-up internet sounds like. What works? They trust each other. They respect each other. They're all from the same era. Why it falls apart? Because Coach starts talking about dragons again and Kobe mentally checks out to go watch Netflix. It's a pre-merge dumpster fire watch list hero. That alliance would be in danger, in severe danger from the start, but you can see it happening because they're all old school and those are tribal lines that are hard to break. All right, Alliance 6, the new school silent assassins. I'll give you Genevieve. I'll give you Camilla. I'll give you Joe Hunter. And I'll even give you Rizzo again. This is the alliance that sneaks up on you. This is the alliance that doesn't talk much. But when they do, they're planning your funeral. Why it works. Underestimated. They're strategic. They're adaptable. They're not flashy. How could it fall apart? Because someone gets paranoid and flips to the Chaos Gremlins. My torch snuffer of truth on this, though, is this is my dark horse alliance of the season. This is the alliance that, if it forms, wins the game. In my Buff Daddy humble opinion, that is your GOAT season 50 as far as alliances. Alliance number 7, the production's favorite storyline alliance, Savannah and Rizzo. They're both from 49, season 49. They both made it deep, and they both have unfinished business. Why it works. They trust each other, they know each other, and they're strong. Where it falls apart? Because returning duos always fall apart. This is just how it works in Survivor. My hot take, one of them blindsides the other, guaranteed. And a lot of people are saying this is going to happen because they're so fresh off of their own season. So let's watch this one closely. Alliance number 8. We're here for the Camera Time Alliance. Rick Devens and Mike White. This is the confessional dream team and a comedy duo. The men who turn every moment into a soundbite. This works, and it works for the Survivor production team because they're charismatic, funny, and yet quite dangerous in the game. But it falls apart because Mike White will write a plot twist and Devins will narrate it, and they'll lose sight of the game they're playing. So now let's talk about the real glue, okay, of Survivor alliances, right? How about Siri and Christian, the mother and the nerd, a duo so wholesome it could cure seasonal depression? How about Dee and Savannah, two modern winners, two challenge beasts, two alpha competitors? How about if you put together Emily and Tiffany, the roast queens? The confessionals would be immaculate. Or you get Coach and Ozzy, a bromance nobody asked for, but everyone would watch. Okay, alliances most likely to implode. The Chaos Gremlins united. They will self-destruct before the merge. The old school nostalgia tribe, they're outnumbered and out-strategized once again. And that challenge Avengers team I told you about? Too many egos, too many muscles, and not enough subtlety. But I think, again, the alliances most likely to dominate would be Siri, Chrissy, Emily, and Stephanie. That's the power core. You could have Christian, Aubrey, Mike, and Charlie, the brain trusts, and Genevieve, Camilla, and Rizzo, the silent assassins. All right, we've talked about alliances. We have talked about chaos. We just talked strategy. And we've talked about delusions. What are we going to talk about next? How about power rankings? Who's winning? Who's losing? Who's going home because they've tried and tried and tried unsuccessfully to make fire with a coconut? Let's talk about power ratings. This is the definitive, indisputable, scientifically questionable list of who's winning Survivor 50. And who's going home because they thought social game meant smile a lot. These rankings are based on the following: strategy, social game, challengeability, past performance, your chaos potential, and pure, unfiltered Buff Daddy intuition. Let's go. Tier 1, the true contenders. These are the players who can actually win. Not maybe, not if the stars align. I mean, these are your legitimate Season 50 contenders. Number one, Siri Fields. If Siri wins Survivor 50, the world will heal. Gas prices will drop, Wi-Fi gets stronger, and your skin will clear up. Siri is the greatest social player in Survivor history. She's the blueprint. She is the moment. What's her only weakness? Challenges. But in a 24-person season, she can hide behind the bigger threats long enough. If Siri makes the merge, she is minimum final 3. Minimum. All right. Number 2. Dee Valadares. Dee's a closer. She's a finisher. She's a woman who played Survivor like none other. Strategic, social, athletic, calm under pressure. Lie to your face and make it look like the truth. She's the modern player best equipped to hang with the legends. I think Dee is the biggest threat in the new school area. Yes, even over Savannah. But I just said it. Number 3, Savannah. I think Savannah is a challenge queen with a killer social game. I think she's adaptable. I think she's likable. She's dangerous. She's the kind of player who gets underestimated until it's too late. Savannah really is the most balanced player in the cast, but because she was the last winner, she's going to have the most eyes on her. That is why I put Dee above Savannah. I have Savannah in 3rd place. Number 4, 4th place, Mike White. Mike is a social mastermind, charming, funny, strategic, the kind of player who makes everybody feel like they're his number 1. He's also the only person who can lose Survivor and still win an Emmy. Mike White is a top-tier winner threat. I've got him at my number 4. Number 5, Christian Hubicki. He's a puzzle god, social butterfly, confessional king, fan favorite, and a massive, massive threat. If he can survive the early game here, he's going deep. He's going deep. Christian is the most dangerous nerd in Survivor history. All right, let's talk about some dark horses now. Okay? We're out of the top 5. Now we're into the dark horses. These players can win if the right chaos happens during the season. Number 6, Aubrey Bracco. She's brilliant. Emotional? Yes, but brilliant. If she gets the right alliances, she's final 6. At number 7, Chrissy Hoffbeck. She's a strategic beast. She's polished, sharp, and dangerous. Her only issue? She's too good and everybody knows it. People are going to have a target from day one on Chrissy. If she can somehow manage, like I said, if the right chaos happens, she could be a dark horse. I have her at my number 7. Number 8, Rizzo. Yeah, he's underrated, and he's strategic, and he's adaptable. He is the kind of player who benefits from being overshadowed by bigger names. I mean, what happened in Rizzo's season was just a fluke. I mean, how do you get an idol and keep showing it to people week after week and not have them force you to play it? Because everyone around you's weak. That was the flaw in Rizzo's season. Everyone around him here is not weak. He must adapt. He needs chaos around him. That's why he's at my number 8. Number 9, Genevieve. Genevieve is sneaky good. She's social. She's strategic and calm. She's the kind of player who just quietly sneaks into the end, and you wonder, how'd she get here? Kind of like Soph or Sophie, or she went by every name last season. She just kind of ended up there, really, through decisions. I can see Genevieve getting that far again, but will she win with that? I don't know. That's why I have her at number 9. I put Camilla at number 10 because, again, she is charming and strategic. She's a social threat, deep thinker, alliance user, and a sleeper pick. I've got her at number 10. Now, we're going to talk about my tier 3, the chaos factors. These players won't win. You can guarantee they won't win, but they'll shape the season for sure. Number 11, Rick Devens. He's a confessional machine. He's entertaining and charismatic and a massive threat. But people are going to target Rick immediately. Just immediately. He's going to have an uphill battle from day one. But if he plays the chaos game, he'll last a lot longer. That's why he's at my number 11. Number 12, Tiffany Nicole Irvin. Tiff's just hilarious, chaotic, and emotional. She's not winning. She's great for TV. Again, you get the right chaos around her, and she can float like she did. She might make it a little bit farther, but I've got her at 12. At 13, I've got Emily, the roast queen, the lady who finds it hard to not say exactly what's on her mind constantly. Now, she did change throughout the last season. She's sharp and funny, but I find her still way too unpredictable. Again, I've just not seen enough new in her to show me anything better. I've got Emily at number 13. At 14, I've got Stephanie LaGrassa. A fighter, true. She's tough and iconic. But this cast is stacked. Stephanie is in danger from the get-go. Number 14. At number 15, and this just puts a dagger through my heart to say, but I got Joe Hunter. Joe is likable. He's lovable. He's strong. He's good at challenges. He's social. But he's also a threat magnet in all those categories. And no one's going to forget the strength of the alliance that he formed with Eva. Again, target on his back. Hard to get much farther when week after week after week from week 1, you're being targeted. If that happens to Joe, then this 15 spot is right. If he gets in the right alliance, I'm dead wrong and I'll own it. All right. That's 15. Now we're at tier 4. This is the maybe they surprise us somehow group. They could go deep or they go home week 1. Charlie Davis at number 16. Smart, strategic, likable. Charlie's a threat. If Charlie gets in the right alliance, he'll ride it because he's a social beast. He needs too many things to go in his way to make it very far. I've got him at 16. 17, Jonathan. Again, he's a challenge beast, but no strategy. The first time he comes up against a puzzle, he's going to be lost again. He's a merge boot waiting to happen. But if he's learned anything in his time off, he'll up the social game. He'll up the puzzle game. And I would love to see nothing more than Jonathan set in my final 3. I just don't see it happening in season 50. At number 18, I've got Jenna Lewis. Old school, scrappy, unpredictable. But again, this cast is too fast, too modern, too strategic for Jenna. She's at 18. All right. My tier 5 people are the pre-merge dumpster fire watch list folks. These folks are in severe danger from the get-go. Number 19, Colby Donaldson. The legend. He's a nostalgic pick. This cast is going to eat him alive. Coach Wade at number 20. Iconic, but he's also coach. He doesn't know when to shut this. He's either forming a cult or getting voted out by the cult he formed, as I mentioned earlier. Coach doesn't stand much of a chance. He's just here for nostalgia and TV. Yeah, at number 21, I'm putting Kyle Frazier. You see, Kyle played too good of a game. He rode the right people. Failed when he needed to fail, survived when he needed to survive, and win when he needed to win. But everything he did, if you watch that season, was because of someone else. That's not going to happen this season. I give Kyle the number 21 spot, and I feel pretty safe with that. Number 22, Q Burdett. Q, who knows what Q's going to say from game 1, day 1, minute 1, second 1. He's all going to be gung-ho, and then the next he's going to want to go home. He'll be happy. He'll be depressed. Q is the type of person I've counseled throughout the years, and you think you're making, great headway with them, and then the next week they come in and you're like, we're back at week 1. Q's either going to be the first one out, or somehow he'll skate along to the final 3. But I am so convinced he's such a mess that the first boot is more likely. I keep him in 22. At number 23, I put Ozzy. Ozzy. Ozzy is a challenge god. No strategy, massive target. Just massive target. All right. We're going to move on to the next one. What is the next segment? Challenges and blindsides. Something I like to call the blindside weather report. Who's getting betrayed? Who's getting idled out? Who's getting sent home because they trusted the wrong person? All right, here we go. Here's the challenge landscape. This cast is stacked with physical threats. We're talking Ozzy, Jonathan, Savannah, Dee, Stephanie, Joe, maybe even Colby if he's upped his game a little. This is the most physically loaded season since Heroes vs. Villains, but with more chaos and fewer people pretending to be heroes. So let's break it down. Early challenge dominance goes to Jonathan Young. He's a human forklift, as I mentioned. He's carrying logs and people and whole tribes on his back, carrying the entire challenge on his back. Challenge after challenge without eating food. Early dominance here goes to Jonathan. Then Ozzy, of course. He's still a jungle cat, still climbing trees like he's auditioning for the latest Tarzan movie. You gotta count Ozzy in this bunch. Savannah, of course, modern challenge queen. She's the one who wins clutch immunity when everyone else is just needing some rice or a cheeseburger. And she's like, I don't care, I'm still winning. But right behind her comes Dee. She's not flashy, she's effective. Way effective. She wins when it matters. And then you got Stephanie LaGrossa. She's older now for sure, but she's still going to be a beast. Here's my hot take. The early challenges are going to be dominated by the Muscle Squad, but the Muscle Squad is always also going to get targeted for being too strong too early. So these people are always at risk, as Jonathan always was in his season. Joe was the same. I didn't put Joe in this list because maybe a little older this time and around, and there's all these people. I think he's going to lay back on that and let some of these people take the glory this time around if he's played a stronger game. All right, now the fun part. Here's the first big blindside prediction. Okay, the first blind side of the season is going to be a challenge threat. Someone who thinks they're safe because they're carrying their tribe. Someone who says, "Oh, they need me." Someone who is wrong. My prediction: Jonathan or Ozzy gets blindsided before the merge. Why? Because the cast is too smart to let a physical god reach the individual phase. My torch snuffer of truth here: if you're the strongest person on a tribe of strategists, you're not a shield. You're a target. The first idol play prediction that I'm going to give you. The first idol play this season is going to be Q Burdett. Why? Q plays Survivor like none other. He knows the power of an idol. He's emotional and chaotic and unpredictable. He's the kind of guy who will play an idol on someone who didn't need it and then brag about it in the confessional. But my hot take: Q will also, obviously, before the season's over, misplay an idol before he plays one correctly. Who's the most likely to get idled out? My prediction? Mike White. Too charming, too social, too trusting. People will want him gone. But they won't want to be the one to do it to Mike because he's so likable. Also, Christian Ubecki. He's too smart, too beloved, too obvious a threat. If he doesn't find an idol, someone else will take him out with one. Savannah Louie. Challenge queens get idled out. It's tradition. Okay. We already talked about most likely to misplay an idol, but I'm going to throw another one in there. Kyle Frazier. He's emotional. He's chaotic. The kind of guy who will play an idol because someone said, "Trust me," with just the little bit of wrong tone in their voice or cock to their head. He's crazily emotional and can easily misplay an idol. And then, of course, to Q and Kyle, I'll add Tiffany. She'll play an idol just for drama. I can respect that. Okay, who's the most likely player to find multiple idols this season? Ozzy. He lives in the jungle. Like I said, he's basically Tarzan. He'll find idols by accident. Christian is up next. He'll solve the idol clue like it's a math problem. Emily, she'll find one while she's roasting someone, just like she did in her own season. And then D, calm, observant, and sneaky. Okay, here's a good one. What's my biggest mid-game blindside? The biggest blindside of this season, the one that will break X and Reddit and at least 100 group chats, is going to be Siri Fields. Not because she deserves it, not because she's playing badly, but because she's Siri. She's too good, too dangerous, too beloved. Somebody's going to pull the trigger on Siri, and it's going to break my heart when they do it because she needs to win. And then when it happens, we're all going to cry about it. If Siri does get blindsided, it'll be the most emotional moment of the season, at least for me. Who's the most likely to flip? Well, it's right in her name. Emily Flippin. She'll flip for drama. She'll flip for strategy. She'll flip because someone else has more power than her old alliance, because that's how she plays the game. Second in line, Tiffany. She'll flip because she's bored. Next up, Kyle will flip because he misunderstood the plan. And then obviously Q, because Q flips like pancakes. He's one way, one way, one way, one way, one way, one way, and you never know which way it's going to be. So there are my most likely to flip. How about most likely to stay loyal until it kills them? Colby Donaldson. Old school, loyal, and he's doomed. Good old Joe Hunter, because he's too nice and he's too loyal. And Jonathan Young, just like in his own season, he'll inadvertently trust the wrong person, and that will cost him. All right, here's a new one for this season. Who's the most likely to be a surprise challenge beast? Someone we didn't already name. How about Genevieve? She's sneaky strong. Camilla, agile and smart and woman strong. And those are my two. I couldn't come up with any more. All right. Final 5 challenge threats. Here we go. Savannah, Dee, Jonathan, Ozzy, and Stephanie. If any of these people reach the end game, they're winning immunities. So if they get there, and I've given you many reasons why Jonathan might not or Ozzy might not, but if they get there, they're final 5 challenge threats. Okay, here we go. We're now going to transition to final thoughts. It's time to wrap it up. Okay? So let's take a deep breath. Let's all hydrate together, shall we? Stretch those emotional survivor quads. We've walked through the entire cast of Survivor 50. We talked about alliances, chaoses, blindsides, idle plays, challenge threats, dark horses, the doomed, the delusional, and the destined. So, it's time to wrap it up. Friends, Survivor 50 is going to be the most chaotic, unpredictable, emotionally devastating, and strategically complex season in the history of the show. The cast is stacked. Legends, icons, chaos gremlins, challenge gods, social assassins, strategic masterminds, people who think they're masterminds, but are actually one confessional away from a meltdown. This is a let's throw gasoline on the beach and see who lights the first match season. But let's be real. Some players are here for nostalgia. Just good to see them again. Some are here for chaos. I'm looking at you, Q. Some are here for redemption. Looking at you, Joe and Jonathan. And some are here because CBS said we need someone who will cry on day 3. You have plenty to choose from. But the players who will define season 50 are Siri Fields, the Queen, the legend, the emotional core of the season. Dee, Valadares, the modern killer, the closer, the woman who plays like she's allergic to losing. Savannah Louie, again, challenge queen, a silent assassin, the one who will win immunity because it matters the most. Christian Hubicki, the nerd god, the confessional king, the man who will talk his way into or out of every situation. And then you have Mike White, a social mastermind and a charmer, the guy who'll make everyone feel like they're his dad. He's their dad, and they're his number one. These 5, they're the gravitational pull of this season. Everything orbits around them. But let's not forget the agents of chaos, the people who won't win but will absolutely make this season unforgettable. Q, chaos incarnate. Tiffany, confessional gold, unpredictable, emotional, and hilarious. Emily, roast you in a heartbeat and then turn around and give you a hug about it. She's a truth teller, the woman who will say whatever's on her mind. And the Survivor 50 production team love her to death. And Kyle is a walking plot twist. You never know where he's going to be at any moment. You've got the old school heartbeat as well. A lot of OG players are here. You've got Colby the Cowboy, Coach Wade the Dragon Slayer, Jenna Lewis the Borneo Original. You've got some new school silent assassins in Genevieve, Camilla, Rizzo, and Joe. These are the players who sneak up on you. The ones who don't make big moves, they make smart moves. The ones who don't yell, they whisper your name when they vote you out. And the ones who don't brag, they just execute you. I see some themes coming out of season 50, actually. I see old school versus new school, not in a gimmicky way, in a holy crap, this game has changed this way. But again, we have to remember it's the viewers who vote on nearly everything. Do we give them rice? Do we not? Do we give them food? Do we not? How our challenge is what? We've already heard. There's an actual new live show at the end of it, which they haven't had in years. Everything about this season's unpredictable, but you can count on old versus new being a theme you'll hear a lot that Jeff talks about. Next up, challenge beasts versus strategists. It's the eternal war. It's been in every season of Survivor. It'll be in this season. Social assassins versus the chaos agents. It's the most entertaining conflict in Survivor history, and it'll be here yet again. But folks, here's something I want you to keep an eye on. Redemption arcs for people. There are people out there who just love this game and just want to win. Let's talk about Aubrey. Let's talk about Chrissy. Let's talk about Steph, about Colby, Coach. They all want it desperately. And then this is the Queen's era that we are currently living in. Siri, Dee, Savannah, Emily, Chrissy, Camilla, Genevieve, Tiffany. This is the season where the women could easily run the game if they formed the Women's Alliance early. All right, here it is. The moment, the prophecy, the take that will either age like fine wine or like milk left out in the sun. Here are my final 3 predictions for season 50. Who's going to make it to the final 3? Are you ready? Siri Fields, Dee Valadares, Savannah Louie. Who's going to win? Between Siri, Dee, and Savannah? Dee. Why? She's the perfect blend of strategy, social game, challengeability, composure, adaptability, and killer instinct. She's the modern player best equipped to navigate a cast full of legends. Dee is built for this season. So Survivor 50 is not just a season. It's an event. It's a celebration. It's a reunion. It's a war. It's a love letter to the fans of the show. It's a chaos bomb wrapped in palm fronds and then lit on fire. This is the start of something big, something wild, something legendary. And here on Have I Told You About This, you can count on me talking about it as the season progresses, not weekly. There's too many other places my mind takes me. But you can count Survivor will have a home here on Have I Told You About This. I hope you'll be a part of it. All right, friends. Well, look what happened. My torch. Jeff just snuffed it, so I'm done. Thanks for joining me on my rant that I had this week on Survivor 50. To me, there's very little else on TV these days that entertain me as much as Survivor. And this season's going to be wild and crazy and unpredictable. Since the fans are in charge of nearly every aspect, if things go horribly wrong this year, finally Survivor can blame it on someone else besides themselves because the fans made the calls. I want to thank each and every one of you again who've been coming back to this show. Have I Told You About This weekly, and liking and subscribing and commenting and telling your friends. We're growing slowly, and that's the way you grow on YouTube. And I have all of you to thank for that. And from my heart, thank you. I've enjoyed all of your comments, and many, many have helped me to be better and to understand what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, and just loving to hear your own thoughts as well. I appreciate each and every one of you and thank you greatly. So come on back next week to see where my mind takes me, and I'll tell you more about it then. But for now, have I told you about Survivor season 50? Well, I just did. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.